Okay, good morning or good afternoon to everyone. During this video presentation, I will first of all explain a brief definition of the community assets of my community, providing to you examples that I mentioned in previous texts. Then I will present to you the main aspects of an interview in order to make a reflection about it. After that, I'm going to provide a description regarding to the didactic unit that I created previously, and finally I will make a reflection about it. In addition, I would say that the main purpose of this video presentation of this final project is that we need to know how to use an asset, a community asset, in order to teach what we want, in order to use it as a learning tool. Okay, so talking about the community assets that I chose, there are many examples. The three main ones in my community are an educational institution, a bank, and an association of security. In a certain way, all of these community assets can help people in any situation. In this case, they provide education, they provide resources of money, and security for jobs and work. For this video presentation, I'm going to make the didactic unit with the first community asset that I mentioned, the educational institution. Now, talking about the interview, let's say that I interviewed some people from my community to ask for the way they learn English in the school and how they use it nowadays. In this interview, there is a huge age gap. First, a typical answer that the older people gave to me was that they learned only the very basic aspects of English. And also, some of them didn't learn English since they chose French instead of English. Looking at the present, older people stated that the use of English has not been relevant at all. On the other hand, people younger described their English classes as one more class from the hip. But in some cases they realize that learning English can be really useful, and they use it many times. But why is there a prominent difference? That question made me reflect and arrive at a certain hypothesis. The answer for me would be that the use of technology replaced certain words in the vocabulary with English words. For example, we don't say that cell phone is tactile in Spanish. We say that cell phone is touch. Or we don't say give me that ordenador portátil. We say give me that notebook or laptop. So this would be one of the reasons why younger people use more English than older people, seeing older people from around 70 years or more are not as close to technology as younger people. So in this moment, I'm going to explain the didactic unit that I created for teaching English. The community asset mentioned about educational institution can be related to the vocabulary of the Unit 2 of the first year of a high school, the unit Education and Lifelong Learning. Since in this unit, students can learn vocabulary about subjects, opinions, places of the school, among others. Also, I would like to mention that the following two activities that I created are a task-focused spoken interaction with the program strand, meaning-focused input, listening, and meaning-focused output through speaking. And in this part you have the learning objective, that is to present information orally using multimodal resources that reinforce the message in a creative way about varied topics such as personal experience, topics from other subjects, other cultures, among others. In order to contextualize, I will present this theoretical background. This activity will be carried out in a first year high school course. This is why the activities that I will carry out won't be so simple nor so complex. They will be fairly complex. In this activity, students will have to use vocabulary to create sentences which contain the meaning of each subject of the school. For example, here you have two examples. The first one says classes in which we study living organisms, including their structure, evolution, and distribution. And the second one says classes in which students, and the second one says classes in which students do exercise and learn about sports. So we can infer that the first sentence talks about biology and the second one talks about physical education. In this way, they will be able to use the vocabulary presented to create content such as sentences. Now, to know if students learned about the previous activity, they will have to create sentences in which they give their personal opinion about 3 subjects, using the meanings reviewed in the previous activity. For example, here you have 2 examples related to the previous activity. The first one says, I like classes of biology because we can learn about organisms. And the second one says, I believe that classes of physical education are interesting since we can exercise our body and learn from it. In this way, we can realize if students learn about the previous activity or not. Okay, and finally, I would say that the creation of this activity can be quite beneficial for us as pedagogy students. And besides, by creating these type of activities, it allows me and us to adapt to the current curriculum and create activities that are appropriate within the academic context of each institution. Because as we can realize, in our reality, there are different contexts and different institutions. So that's why this project is very beneficial for us. So this is all. Thank you to all for paying attention, and I hope you found relevant my video presentation.